All right, today's agenda is simple enough. Get a leg pump, and not just a run-of-the-mill whoop-de-doo, I did a little bit of legs. I mean, get a good leg pump. I'm talking really rip into it. So how am I going to do that exactly? Give me some time to get ready, not only physically but also mentally. But I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about doing like kind of alternating like I did with arms yesterday, where I did 3 sets of tries, 3 sets of buys, 2, 2, 1, 1, and then a superset as a finisher. But I don't know if I want to do that today with legs, because they're such a big muscle group. I feel like it kind of lends itself more to just hitting all hamstrings than all quads, rather than going back and forth. But the fact that I already think that is kind of putting me in a box and making me not want to try a different training style of going back and forth. So, maybe that's what I should do. So I'll see once I actually get in there and get started. I gotta kind of warm up my hamstrings, warm up my calves, do a little bit of leg extensions. I mean, really, before I do anything leg-wise, I got a little bit of a rotation where I'll just kind of bounce around, even just doing standing single leg calf raises, like leaning up against a machine or something for balance, and then going back and forth between a light leg curl and a light leg extension, just to kind of get things moving and warm. Like before I do chest, I'm going to sit in the cables and do a bunch of push downs and some curls and rotator cuff stuff and cross presses and rows, just to get this whole mobility situation I don't want to say under wraps, but in working order, right? Make sure there's no grooves or kinks anywhere that are going to throw me off my game. So let's say for whatever reason I jump on the leg extension and my left knee is a little tender, and my left knee is kind of like, even just from a few notches of weight, maybe I shouldn't squat that day. Maybe I shouldn't try to leg press and totally destroy my knee that day. Maybe I should give it some time and relax. So I think that's where there's almost 2 extreme sides of the coin, where guys will either kind of gung-ho it, work through injury, like, I don't care if it hurts, go nuts, and then now their knee or their freaking elbow or their rotator cuff is really wrecked just from continuous damage. Or there's guys where, they get a tiny twinge somewhere and they're like, oh, I can't squat. Oh, dude, my knee is I got a knee thing, that, man. Come on, I can't squat with you today. I got that lower back thing. Like I'm gonna go see my chiropractor, and it's just a whole thing, man. And then it kind of becomes more of an excuse kind of situation, just because it's very validating to say, dude, my knees hurt, and then in their mind, I definitely don't want to squat. I don't want to say I don't want to squat, so how about I got a tweak. My knee, So both sides not good. I think there's a sweet spot right in the middle where it's for one, trying to prevent injury in the first place. Be it not going way too heavy, way too early, not warming up, whatever, and still having the the kind of conscious effort of, if you ever do tweak something, not just leaving it completely idle, but putting yourself in a position to kind of rehab it. And I'm not talking like you've got to go to a PT trainer and do all their like rotator movements or things. I guess if you don't really know what you're doing, then obviously do that. But like if I ever have a rotator cuff thing, anything that hurts it is immediately off the list, and I really try to emphasize doing a lot of just light, gradually increasing. I'm talking like 5 pounds on the cables, whatever, and just kind of easing back into things slowly and steadily. And then before you know it, whoop-de-doo, back to normal. I've had tweaks from my head to my toe. Nothing too like serious where I had to go in for like a reconstructive surgery or anything, except for that one time I almost cut my whole thumb off. But anything gym related, pretty much all minor, but enough where I'm like, whoa, my chest is whatever, my hamstring, and obviously acting a fool, shouldn't have even hurt myself like that. But each time I did, have the, kind of presence of mind to say, okay, we gotta slow down, we gotta give this some time to actually get back into working order. And then now I'm feeling good. right? So would I rather have never pulled anything in the first place? Yes, but what are you gonna do? Sometimes it hits you out of nowhere. You have absolutely no control over it. I mean, there's videos of guys where they'd be what people would pretty much refer to as like the guy who trains very smart, and like he like tore his whole pec off just benching a normal amount of weight, right? I mean, sometimes shit just goes down, hard to predict it. But, you know, if that's your thing, if you 100% never want to risk any potential injury or tweak, then, you know, stay home, man. You know, it just might happen. You might be walking the dumbbells back to the rack and you like twist your ankle, or just, you know, don't freak about it. Just be in a state where if that happens, get ready to kind of pivot and then work forward instead of just, you know, sitting around stagnating. You know, I don't want to be the guy who has to say, oh, dude, you guys don't get it. You know, this is me, old head. I was repping 3 plates on incline, and then I had that shoulder thing. Like, nah, you know, I had my name on the 150s at the gym back in the day, but, you know, then I had this rotator, this like labrum. Like, I don't want to be that guy. You know, that's as time has progressed over the last basically 2-ish, 3-ish years, the amount of value and importance that I've put on trying to avoid injury has increased dramatically. If you've been watching these really, or if somebody watched like all of these videos and kind of remember the whole timeline, then, I mean, I never like plugged it or anything. I like wrote it in like a chart, but my frequency of injury has decreased drastically, and I want to keep it like that. You know, really, I want it to just be at 0 in perpetuity. That's kind of my goal. So, as much as I'm trying to kill it, it's like I'm, holy crap. Who played Patrick Bateman? Who played The Machinists? Christian Bale. It's like I'm Christian Bale in that one racing movie, right? I'm revving it to 7,000, but I'm not going over. You know, I'm not gonna blow the freaking thing up. That's kind of my headspace. But I can guarantee within about an hour of getting started, maybe an hour 15, I should have a pretty solid leg pump. Hopefully I'll be walking with a little bit of a wobble. If you ever have a really good hamstring pump, it kind of puts you in like a cowboy situation, because if you're walking with your legs like right next to each other, then they're kind of going to rub into each other a little bit. So I think, well, we'll just have to see what happens, right? But that's the plan. So let's get in there. Okay, so I'm properly warm. It's been a while since I broke the 500-pound barrier. So jumping straight to 545, that'd be 5 plates and a 25 would be a little wild. So 525 will be good. So let me get the zone here. This should be easy, 10, but I'm aiming for 15. Holy shit. Whew. Oh my God. What? I get that a lot. Holy shit. The guy when I said I look like Sam Sulik. That's good. Oh, let's move on. Squats are a one and done. It's like a toxic relationship. You know, you get it. Let's go do something else. I think I'll do what I said in the car. 3 quad movements. Well, 3 quad sets. Then 3 hamstring sets back and forth. That was a crazy opener of squats. That was freaking nuts. For a while I was thinking 6 plates would be out of reach. Not that it matters, but, well, we'll see later. That's a future endeavor. This would just be a heavy, nasty set of extensions. One more of those. Okay. Let's do some leg curls. Holy crap. Ooh. I'll probably sit here for all 3. This is an old leg curl, but it is sweet. Old school side backs. I'm sure it says the year it was made, but I gotta hit a set. I can't just start looking around for that kind of shit. Oh, 2 more of these. Holy crap. Okay, let's move on back to a quad movement. Ooh, not sure why. This leg press is cool, but it's light. So instead of doing 5-second eccentric reps to make the weight heavier, I'm more of a pre-exhaust fan, right? So if there's a pull down that's a little too light, I'll just pre-exhaust with pull-ups or pullovers, and then that weight will relatively feel much heavier. So this is a classic combo here. No need for another machine. Just do bodyweight sissy squats, 10, 15 or so, then do the leg press set. And for me, since this leg press kind of has machine leverages, it doesn't build up a lot of momentum, right? If I dropped a full sled leg press onto myself, it would instantly crush me because the weight is moving so quick. But here the stack moves pretty slowly relative to the actual range of motion of the machine, so you can do a little quicker, right? If you know what I'm talking about, you can do quick pull downs on like a crossover cable than you can on like a regular 1-to-1 lat pull down. But either way, let's do some sissy squat leg press combo. Final exercise named TBD. There we go. Okay. Oh shit. Alright, I overestimated my strength. Let's make this just a classic leg press set. Oh, goodness. Okay, come on. Yes. Okay. Oh, goodness. Okay. Time for a leg curl. This will be lighter squeezing. Holy shit. Okay, holy shit. Oh, okay. Let's finish with a leg extension superset. That'll be the end of it. This last set is one that I think is actually an original name, maybe not an original style, you know, but I call this the Jekyll and Hyde finisher. So the first portion, because I'm just doing leg extensions, but there's two phases. Phase one, lightweight, controlled, squeezing. I'm gonna hold the top, have a really slow eccentric, like 15 reps-ish. I kind of cook my quads, and then maybe not double, but jump the weight up a lot and just throw it around for as many as I can do. And the contrast to the two styles, at least from my immediate experience, usually results in a pretty good pump finisher, right? Your results may vary, and honestly, that's the whole point of watching people work out, you know? Maybe try their shit, and if you don't like it, don't do it, right? It's simple enough. Okay. Holy shit. Oh. Okay. Let's go see how legs are looking. Whew. Yeah, that was good. All right. I am I am fucking glad I came here for legs instead of the personal gym, because it is probably 90 fucking degrees in there and I'm already this sweaty, and there's AC in this building. Like, it's like 70 something. So, or like, you know, low 70, maybe 60 something. So yeah, it's the heat has actually become a serious problem. I need to find some way to cool it down in there. But squatting first instead of doing all of hamstrings, that felt pretty good. You know, I still warmed up. I mean, I bounced around the like the leg curl and the leg extension and everything, but yeah, that was freaking nasty. And the more sets I can do like that and kind of scale my quad size and strength, I really feel like it has a serious impact on your ability to do all other leg movements. Yeah, it would appear I've hit the portion of the bulk where you know, striations and separations, especially with a quad pump, have kind of diminished, which is okay. I'm cool with that. I don't need to be lean all year round. That's not the freaking point. But yeah, I feel like if you've got strong ass quads and you do kind of overload them with, you know, certain leg press, or, I mean, honestly, the squat, I think just overall is definitely the best quad strength builder, because, I mean, as long as you have good balance and all your stabilizers are good, like, I never feel like I'm tiring myself out just from standing and making sure I don't wobble. Like, you know, sometimes guys will say, it's like, oh, well, free weights are so unstable. I mean, yeah, if you've got weak stabilizers, you know, but I've got no, I mean, you have to learn it. Like, squatting is definitely a skill to be, I don't want to say mastered, but at least improved upon, because if you can squat well, or you're in a good groove, and actually today, if you noticed on that second rep, anyone who's squatted a lot knows this was kind of a freaky situation. I go down and the bar, I actually let the bar roll up my traps a little bit, and it kind of almost took me forward, which of course had the safeties on, but then I managed to save it and get back into a good groove for the rest of the set. But if you can get into a good groove, it doesn't feel unstable. You know, you're really just giving it all you can. And the fact that it's getting like some glute, hamstring, kind of just whatever, like, it translates very well. A guy who can squat a lot will be able to leg press a lot. And by a lot, I mean be able to utilize his quads to their maximum ability, right? A guy who only leg presses will not be able to squat a lot, because the squat involves basically your entire musculature. It's not just quad only. Now, bodybuilding, right? Isolation, stable movements, it lends itself to doing more like leg press and extensions and things like that. But I think having some quad training from squats added to the routine, it'll make you stronger, and then you'll be able to bring it more on leg extensions. You'll be able to bring it more on leg press. You'll be able to bring it more on any other movement, you know? So I'm not gonna sit here and do 8 sets of squats. It would, I mean, I'd have a lower back that'd be overpowering my lats. But one nasty one, in a good way, first or in the middle, it just kind of, its benefits exceed just its set as itself, if you get what I'm saying, right? So that's my message to you. Start squatting, or look up to someone who squats, who makes you excited about it. Because if you can be excited about squats, you're setting yourself up for success. You know, watch a Tom Platz motivational whatever. Any of these, like, you know, watch some Clarence Kennedy motivational training clips. Like, it's nuts. So if you can connect in your mind, like, not just think it, but put squats and badass and cool on the exact same level, dude, just watch your quads. Watch your quads over the next few months and see what happens. But nothing else to say. Let's get out of here. That was a good ass lift. All right. I was just telling just chatting in the car yesterday after arms, and I'm like, ooh, that was a good lift. Felt good. Everything was kind of kicking. That was nice. Man, now I get to sit in the car and go home. Yeah, I feel like that twofold, maybe even threefold today after that leg day. That was good. A little lower volume-wise, but yeah, I mean, that just started off freaking strong. I mean, I'm doing yeah, what the hell? So I did 5 plates for a warm-up, because how I usually do it is like leg extensions, a few sets, like not working, but getting warm, like, you know, 200 pounds ish for like 5 or so, just getting them kind of kicking and everything. Same with hamstring curls, same with some calves. And then once they're warm for squats, I just kind of end up camping out on the rack, do a plate for a few, 2 for a few, 3 for a few, and then after 3 for a few, it's usually just like do 4 for 1, do 5 for 1, just to kind of feel it. And as long as everything feels good, like, I have a gauge where if I do it for 1 and I know how it feels, or like I can gauge the difficulty, then that's a good indicator of, okay, I can do this for 10, or I'll be able to do this for 12. I can go a little heavier, right? Like 5 plates easily would have been 12. I should have done 11 for that real working set. I kind of wussed out a little, I think. Still good though. New weight, new territory. I haven't gone that heavy for a little while. And I'm not joking. I do think your quad's ability to exert force will relate to the size you'll be able to at least stimulate with other movements. Now, you don't have to be a power lifter, right? And that's not the style of set I was doing. A power lifter isn't going to do a set of 10, at least not not so heavy, right? He's just working more so for that lower rep 1 to 3 kind of exertion style. So if that's kind of what I'm getting at. Heavy, but if you can do it for 10, is it that heavy? So it's like, heavy is kind of subjective. I'd say the range that is too heavy would be, well, for one, anything that makes you feel kind of just nervous tendon wise. Like, not nervous like, oh, this is heavy, all right, let's get real. Like, nervous like, this is too heavy, I'm going to hurt myself if I do this, right? On a subjective note, that's what I would think. But like, more kind of objectively, if you can only get 5 in a bodybuilding just lifter context, I think that's a little too heavy. If you can get like 8-ish, sometimes 7 if you think you can maybe get 8, but the 8th rep is kind of failure. I think that's as heavy as I would want to go on most movements. And I really like that 10 rep spot. Like, if I'm doing a heavy set and I can get 10, usually actually more like 10 to 12, that's a good spot for me, because it's heavy and I'm hitting failure, or at least I'm like right there, but it's not so heavy I'm actually worried about my physical well-being. You know what I'm saying? So I was telling Mark about this a little bit ago, and I think as I continue to get stronger in this off season, maybe I will get that feeling back. But when I first really started getting into being able to squat a ton of weight, I mean, squats was making me nervous. Like, I would be sitting on the bench or on a seat or whatever before getting ready for my working set of squats, 5 plates, 5.5 plates, whatever, and just sitting there looking at it. Like, when I knew, okay, I'm getting ready to stand up and hit this shit, my heart rate would shoot up easily to like 150 preset. Like, just fucking hit this shit. Like, and then just throwing my phone. I mean, going back to like, original spring bulk, or whichever one that first one was. I mean, for those sets, like, I was getting amped. Like, I would get this just like antsiness from my fucking hit this shit. But I don't get that now. I don't get it the same way. It sucks. And I think it's because now it's within my ability. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's never gonna be a Sam swatting 7 plates. Like there's a limit to feasible, actual, even effective weight to use for a squat. You know, that's it's just not even the point. But, you know, now that I've kind of gotten into that like 500-ish pound squat for long enough, I don't get that same anxiousness. Like sometimes if I got a really good song going, I get a hint of it, and as I do the set, I still bring it. Like it's not like I'm going easy, but I don't get that same pressure that I did before when heavy squats were new. So even when I'm like I kind of have to, like, you know, yell or kind of get a little grunt out just to start to bring that out, you know. And that's where I think having music playing or just having something about your environment getting you going is almost a necessity if you're going to be able to bring it on a crazy set like that. Because if it wasn't for, you know, having some really cool songs, you're just like, and maybe not even that, just having a preset ritual where you're thinking like just anything, right? Whatever gets you going. If you don't have that, I think it's going to affect your performance. You know, if I'm not in the mood per se to hit a set of squats, or if someone isn't really into it, what are the odds they're going to bring it? You know, you're not going to get thrown off the plank because you didn't hit squats to failure, or you didn't do like at least just a good exerting set of squats. Like there's no rules. You can rack it whenever you want. You know, this is a self-imposed challenge. So you really need to just get into a certain headspace of, all right. And I'm not a huge fan of like a you know, self-depreciation kind of method where it's like, oh man, I'm so fucking weak. Like that just doesn't do it for me. I don't really like thinking like that, or like the idea of thinking like that. For me, it's just like it's not even real thoughts. Like before, if I got my song playing, or it's like an edit or just whatever, and I'm getting ready to, I'm not thinking like, okay, it's kind of just guttural, like primal, just like if you could somehow Neuralink what like words or phrases I was thinking pre-squat and like mid-squat, it would probably just be like fucking, you know, guttural growls. Yeah, you know, it's not a thing that demands like real conscious thought apart from go nuts, you know. But yeah, so instead of doing all of hamstrings first, warming up my hamstrings, of course, because they do have a stabilizing role and a bit of a pressing role in more so leg press, but still a good portion in squats. Like if you hurt your hamstring, it would hurt when you squat. They do come into play, even though you're not doing like a curling motion. You know what I'm saying? So they do come into play. So I'm going to warm them up just like anything. I'm going to warm my triceps up before bench. I'm going to warm my biceps up a little bit before pull downs. You know, it's an accessory muscle. It's not the direct working muscle, but it comes into play enough that it's pretty much necessary to at least make sure it's warm and, you know, ready to fire correctly. But actually just doing squats first, yeah, man. I mean, I've been on this kick of all hamstrings and then all quads. I'm starting to think I got to change it up. And I'm glad that I switched it today. Usually I get into a little bit of a mode and I do the same style of workout pretty consistently. Yeah, that was really good. It was like I was surprised in myself with how light that felt. No, that was good. So now I gotta really bring it. I think, yeah, I don't know. If I could get to a point with my quad development where I can do 5 plates for 20, that would be really good. That would that's something that, like, it's not like bodybuilding is all, you know, weights and numbers. It's how you look. It's how you kind of I'm not so artsy about it where I'm like thinking, okay, I'm trying to sculpt my body. Like, I don't usually go about it thinking like that. I'm usually just thinking build it. But it does correlate to your gym performance. You know, a big ass dude isn't only going to curl the 20s, right? It's just kind of a matter of fact there, if you catch my drift. Right? So I guess my main kind of point there, mass moves mass, right? But mass can also tear and rip and injure mass, right? So the weight can hurt you, but you should also be able to hurt the weight in the sense of, you know, moving it around. I liked how, you know, this is back like some kind of interview from Dorian Yates sometime. He's saying he's like a fucking knight and he's going to war with the weights. They are his opposition and he's going to exert mastery and force over them. you know. So that's some of that stuff really gets me going. But at the end of the day, I mean, no matter what weight-wise, I mean, I'm impressed if I see somebody move a lot of weight, just because it's a scarce thing. You don't see it a lot. But I'm more impressed when I see a crazy ass set, you know. If I watch a guy do 5 plates for like 3, and like that's his whatever, I mean, you know, it's cool, but it's I think it's more impressive to see someone do a weight that is their max for 10, and they actually hit failure, and they're bringing it. Like, they're not just failing because like, I gave up. Like, they actually brought it. A set of 3 plates, or like even 275 to real crazy failure, and the guy's not lying about it, that's more impressive than some crazy single, at least for me, you know, because my value system is weight and reps. And honestly, the rep side comes first, you know. When you guys ask me, it's like, Sam, come on, just one time do a powerlifting style max out. Come in and max out your squat, max out your deadlift, max out your chest, or max out your bench rather. No, not gonna happen. And I think that's good for me that I don't have that itch, because that's really asking for trouble. Especially in a bodybuilding kind of context. So it's more like, dude, you know, let's bring back the 10 rep max, right? I want the 10 rep max to get more love than the 1 rep max, because not only do I feel that's a more accurate description of someone's functional strength, because it's not so skill based, you know. It's kind of weird, like all the, like, that's kind of controversial now with sumo deadlift, really arch based bench, even squats are kind of being I don't want to say bastardized. It's not what I mean, because I'm not in that space. But like, I'm seeing guys where instead of like a regular kind of upright squat, it's like they have the bar literally in their middle back. Their arms are completely contorted. The weight isn't resting on their upper traps or on their mid back and on like their mid traps and their rear delts. The weight is resting on their lats. Like, it's way down there, and they're literally just doing a leg press. Like, it's not even a squat at that point, you know. So in the spirit of like mastery over trying to like move the maximum amount of weight, right, it would make sense that you'd kind of optimize it in kind of what you might conventionally think of as like a weird way. But in the bodybuilding sphere, or just, you know, regular muscle building, lifting kind of you know, kind of ideology, the point isn't to make it easier to lift heavier weights. The point's to make the weights harder to lift, you know. So would I be able to do more weight for more reps if I put knee sleeves on, or like wraps, or like a belt? Like, yeah, but that's just assisting with more weight. Like, if wearing a belt and then adding straps and sleeves or anything else like would help me add 45 pounds to the squat, it doesn't really change anything, you know, because then I'm still doing the same set. It's just now it's a little heavier, but that's like putting a band on a hack squat. Now, of course, that does change the strength curve, but just follow me. You're putting a band on a hack squat and then adding another plate, when in a, you know, kind of functionally same way, you could just leave the plate off and not have to worry about it, you know. I know it's different, it's lighter at the bottom, that's not what I'm trying to say, you know. So I'm not here to, you know, like really lean forward and keep my knees directly over my heels and use more of my posterior chain. No, I'm trying to test my quads, and I want my squat to fatigue nothing else. Like, I'm trying to stay as upright as I physically can with my you know, limb lengths and insertions and like hip angles and everything else, because I'm just trying to hit my quads, right? Nothing else, you know. So that's where, even with a, you know, compound movement like a squat or like a bench, I'm still trying to make sure it's targeting the intended muscle, right? Because it's not a test of how much I can lift, it's a test of how hard I can exert my targeted muscle group, right? So if I could finish a squat with no glute and like minimal lower back activation, perfect. But that's my shtick for today, right? Add squats. The lifter who squats, I think, is in a different league. And I'm not saying squats heavy in the sense of like heavier than other people. I'm just saying the lifter who squats at his own maximum capability is definitely, you know, he's a different leaf. He's a different well, you get what I'm trying to say. I can't think of a good example of some kind of phrase like that. But I'm going to feel that tomorrow. And assuming that all goes well with my recovery in the meantime, my next leg day should have a squat set even heavier than that one. Now, if it's only by 5 pounds on each side, fine by me. If it's only by 2.5 pounds on each side, that's a little, I don't know. I mean, when I see micro-loading, unless you're micro-loading with calibrated plates, a 45 can be like 48 pounds or it can be like 43 pounds, like at a regular gym. So I think 5 pound net increments is seems a little silly. I'd at least want to, do 10 pounds, like 5s on either side. That's kind of the smallest unit that I'd want to jump up. But now I'm just getting into a ramble. I can feel that I'm getting hungry, which is a sign of a good lift as well, because I just depleted all my glycogen. So now my body's telling me, you got to get some food in your system ASA freaking P. So that is what I will do. Absolutely no benefit of depriving it from the recovering nutrients that it desires. Plus, how the hell else am I going to get carved up unless I, refill the tank? So, nothing else to say. I hope you're getting ready for a nasty set of squats, or you've just finished a nasty set of squats and we're both on the same page driving home from the gym. But that's all for today. So I'll see you for some, I don't know what else. I gotta get on a different delay because these videos, I'm posting these the same day that I record them, and usually I'm on record it and then post it the next day kind of schedule. So I might have to add a buffer or two this weekend to get back on track, because then it'll actually be posted at its regular time. No more of these 8 p.m. uploads. Yeah, sorry about that, but we'll get there. So I'll see you for whatever tomorrow brings. So see you then.